Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel, Jo Knows Adventure. And today, well, let's start out by saying this is a little different today. Um, I have been going around New Orleans and showing some of the things around town. And I'm in between cruises, as you know. My last cruise was in January, and I had the month of May was birthdays and graduations and all sorts of stuff. So I decided not to cruise in May, but I do have cruises scheduled. So I will give the information at the end of this video. But before I start on all that this video is, I ask humbly, don't forget to give the videos a thumbs up, to watch all the way through, to comment, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Um, I have a lot of videos out there that you can certainly binge watch on, not just things around New Orleans or Christmas or Halloween or trips that I take, but a lot of cruises that I have already on my video. So without further ado, let's start this video with the full purpose of telling you who I am and why I do what I do. All right, let's get started. So, like I said, this is a little different, guys. I've never done a full introduction of who I am or a full why I do what I do. Another YouTube person that I recently subscribed to kind of inspired me to do this. You know, yes, I'm 72 years old, young, 72 years young. And I've always enjoyed traveling. Even as a little girl, um, my dad and family, we always were doing something, either moving or visiting aunts and uncles. And I so enjoyed it and carried on into my adult life. Always have enjoyed camping and jaunts around, uh, long drives, just just the beauty of all that we have here in America. And I longed to go on cruises to Europe or just to visit Europe. So um, I I decided that I did a few cruises with my husband, and then after I divorced, I found myself very single and going a little bit into the job. But I I went and was working, and as I was working, I started watching a lot of content creators on YouTube sharing their travels. And when we discovered Facebook, those that you're young, you probably have always had Facebook, but we didn't always have Facebook. And when I started Facebook, I started sharing photos. I would go somewhere, and 72 pictures later, I was sharing. But when I saw people doing the YouTube, I said, you know what, I could do that. And I longed to do that. So I decided that when I retired, I was going to start my own YouTube channel. So I retired in November of 2019. I moved from California to New Orleans. This is where my daughter lives and two granddaughters, and I wanted to be closer to them. So here I am in New Orleans. I moved here, like I said, in November of 2019. Well, I had the goal of starting my own YouTube channel. And as I started to prepare for that, I got a part-time job just to keep myself busy. I don't feel as old as I am. So COVID hit 2020. So who could travel during COVID? You all know that that was a tremendous time in our lives. So I started just taking photos and things and practicing and putting in queue, not releasing, but putting in queue various YouTube things that I might be able to release. And they were pretty raw. I tell you, speaking to a camera with nobody else around is so much different, guys. And it took me some time to get used to that. I do a lot of and I talk slow anyway. I'm not a fast talker. So you guys are probably fast forwarding through all my videos anyway. But I decided finally COVID was over and I took my first cruise. And my first cruise was, I have this listed down, was a cruise from New Orleans, and that was in December of 2021. And it was one of the first cruises that we could take that was offered after COVID. We had to be tested, you had to prove that you had the vaccinations, but I was so anxious to get on that cruise. And so that was one of my first cruise releases in 2021 in December. And so, like I said, I started out very small, and my vlogs started getting, I consider my vlogs started getting better and better. And as they got better, I was doing more cruises and more things around New Orleans. I did Halloween, I did Christmas, I did, whatever, some stuff around here. And so I just found a different way to share my adventures instead of just sharing them on Facebook. So, and in between cruises, like I said, I just do a little things around here, and which I've found myself doing just recently, just showing you some of the best things of New Orleans, which I will continue to do after this. I might sprinkle some packing tips or some suitcases. Actually, guys, I'm going through cruise withdrawals. I really am. I'm so used to, you know what I do? I do a 7-day cruise or 10-day or whatever. And each day of the cruise, I put on a week video. So for instance, if I was day 1 of my cruise, it would show today. Day 2 would be next week, day 3. So it carried through. So if I took a cruise in January, it would carry through till about May. I'd be prepping for another cruise. It'd take me through to September. So that was my plans. So as you know, that cruise is over in January. So, and I've already explained why I'm not cruising today. But I think that some of the things that I've been asked about cruising at my age is how can you do things solo or cruise by yourself? And also videotape, and how did you do all this? And I think at my age, one thing is I don't feel my age. I've been blessed with good health. Of course, I'm overweight, but I mean, I don't take any medications, and that's just something in my genes. So I'm very fortunate and blessed that I don't. And I figure if I'm going to travel, I better do it now while I can, you know. And if I can share it on YouTube, why not, you know? And it's been a slow growth, but traveling solo, you're never alone, and it's caused me to be social. I'm even just talking to you guys on YouTube. I feel like you're my audience, and not that I'm acting, but I'm talking to somebody, and it's causing me to be more open with things, to be able to speak a little bit more clearly. Um, and also, like I said, you're never alone. I, I do travel safely. I do all the precautions. I try to book group cruises, group excursions. I'm not doing just get off the ship. I might do a hop on, hop off bus, but you're still with a crowd and you're still with tourists. I don't wander off on my own. But I've met some wonderful people that still are friends on my Facebook. And I've cruised a few times with those friends that I've met. And I've got a couple more cruises coming up with somebody you guys have met on my past cruise with Karen. So that's why, I don't feel alone and I don't feel afraid. It's an adventure and I love to travel, like I said earlier. So it really worked out. Um, and like I said, I believe I've learned to be comfortable in front of the camera, and I may show something too long, and I'm learning to cut things off and that. So to make it more interesting for you guys. So I know this is just a really quick video that just sit out there. I had planned to go downtown New Orleans to a restaurant this morning, and I'm working this afternoon. This is Saturday. This is the 31st of May. But like I said, I work part time. I work 2 part-time jobs, guys. So I do keep very busy. And so this morning I had to do laundry and all that. And I said, you know what? I need to get this video out. Let's do something different. So you're hearing about me. So all about me. But now we've come to the end of this. What is the future? I do have, like I said, this is tomorrow starts June. I really don't have any close travels planned. I may go up to Portland, Oregon to visit my brother and his wife again here, either the end of June and into July. But I don't do a cruise until September. I have, so just whatever I can do around here is going to be what I show. And then prepping for the cruise, all the stuff that I do for prepping for a cruise. So that cruise in September is on the Norwegian Joy. It's a 9-day cruise out of Seattle to Alaska. And then in October, at the end of October, I have a 7-day Mexican Riviera. So that takes us through 2025. But stay tuned for 2026. In January, I have a 14-day cruise on the Norwegian Viva out of Galveston. So it's not just Cozumel and Roatan, that it goes further south. So it's going to be a really nice cruise. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then in May of 2026, I have a 7-day Caribbean, again, out of New Orleans. But it's on the Norwegian Escape. Typically, out of New Orleans, we have the Getaway or the Breakaway. And the Escape is coming. So I said, you know what? I'd like to do that ship out of New Orleans. It's easy for me, as you know. It's only 10-minute drive down to the dock from here, my house. But I want to showcase the Escape. And then again, I'm on the Escape in September for a 16-day transatlantic cruise from New York to Barcelona. So that's going to be a very exciting. I've never done that long of a cruise, and I've never been transatlantic. So that's going to be a real kicker. And then so I have a cruise in January, May, and September. And then I've already booked a cruise in January of 2027, which was really going to be a different one for me. It's a 13-day cruise from Singapore to Hong Kong on the Norwegian Jade. So those are the cruises that I have planned. Things happen. I may have to cancel or anything, but which brings me to the one point: travel a day before, and also have insurance, cruise insurance, because you never know. I book these so far in advance that you never know what may happen. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions about me, glad to answer. Just give it in the comment section. If you have any questions about traveling solo, about cruises, anything in New Orleans. I say New Orleans on the camera. It's New Orleans when I talk fast. So anyway, if you have any questions about this area, I'd love to answer. All right. So thanks again, everybody, for hanging in with me for this video. I know it's a little different and kind of off the wall, but maybe it gives you a little idea of who I am and why I started YouTube videos. But if you've watched this all the way through the end, currently I'm at 857 subscribers, getting closer and closer to that 1,000 mark. And I know cruising is my niche, and I get most of my video subscribers from the cruises. But thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. And till next week, you guys all be safe in whatever you're doing and having a good day today. And till next week, love y'all. Bye bye.